Welcome to episode 2 of the No Weapon podcast with yours truly, John Burton, along with former NFL wide receiver, Ohio State Buckeye, all around great guy, assistant coach at the Montgomery Bell Academy High School in the Nashville area. Number 81 himself, the great Chris Sanders. Chris, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Okay, first of all, last week was strike one. This week is strike two. You
I'm not
you
going to
said,
say the Ohio State
oh
University.
my gosh, man! See,
I
strike two,
refuse to
man.
say it.
We're strike two already.
It's
We ain't
arrogance.
even in
You
the
guys
third
are
show. We
arrogant.
strike two.
I can't bring myself to say it. I will say the Montgomery Bell Academy.
Oh my gosh. How
Yeah.
you
What's
doing,
going
man?
on?
You doing good?
I'm doing great. It's great. It's
Good,
great to
man.
talk with you as always. Well, give us bring us up to date because high school football season's right around the corner. How is NBA looking this year?
Man, we're looking pretty good. We got a new offense. We got a new head coach named Coach Chauvin. We're doing pretty good. We just got out of camp, and you know how camp is. When you have 2 days, man, I mean, it's like you're ready to go home. And we actually went up to Swanee and stayed in their dorms, and it was just absolutely fantastic. But man, it's football season. We got a game in 2 weeks against Pearlcombe. Coach Bernetti, great head coach over there. Just it's gonna be one of those barn burners. When we had the first game, it's on and cracking and popping. So it's gonna be outstanding.
Looking forward to obviously the high school football season and football season, which is right around the corner. As we record this, hard to believe it, but the Tennessee Titans are 30 days
Yeah,
away from opening the
crazy.
season in Denver against the Denver Broncos. So their first preseason game coming up this weekend against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had a joint practice with the Bucs earlier this week. We'll get into all that in a little bit. But first, the topic of today is really talking about proper mental health. And I don't know about you,
Yeah,
Chris, but one of the things that really, really makes me feel good is really, I think, ever since COVID, because
yeah,
COVID was not only a physical problem for a lot of people, but it was also a mental problem. I can
yeah,
speak,
yeah,
I can speak to experience on that. Being alone and isolated. I live alone. I'm not married. I don't have any
yeah,
kids.
yeah,
And having to be quarantined and just shut into my place for all those months,
yeah.
it
Wow.
really
Yeah.
took a toll on me mentally. And I think since after that, people have really been more open about, listen, there's nothing wrong with seeking a little mental health or just talking to somebody or getting a little therapy. And I think that's a good thing because I've experienced that in my immediate family. And for years, I was like, you don't need therapy. You just
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
grind your way through it. You gotta be
yeah,
tougher.
yeah, yeah.
But it goes way beyond that, doesn't it?
It really does. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Just like if your car's not running right, you go to a mechanic or you go to a shop to say, "I need a tune-up," and that's exactly what it is. Sometimes we need to be propped up, and sometimes we need a tune-up in life to be like to help us get to where we need to be. It's not. Check this out. It's not that something's wrong with the car. It's just that the car's not running like it's supposed to. And that's kind of what mental health is sometimes is it's not that you're crazy, that you're insane. It's just that something is just not right. And it's okay to just talk about it. And I think sometimes football has been good, but sometimes football has been bad because in football, you've been taught that I have to be tough. I can't show emotions. I can't say that something's going on because it's a sign of weakness. No, it's a sign of I need help. Just imagine going back to the car situation. If you keep running and you don't get a tune up, check this out. Finally, the car is going to break down, and you just don't want to get to that situation. I had to get help. When I went through my divorce and I went through some trials and tribulations, I had people in my life to give me a tune up, to tell me I can make it, to encourage me. And sometimes we actually need, a situation like that.
When you finally decided, okay, I need to talk to somebody. I need to get some therapy. I need to
Yeah.
some help getting through this. Was it tough for you? Because like you mentioned, I mean, you played in the NFL, the ultimate alpha male
Yeah.
league.
Yeah.
The ultimate. Those are the alpha. Those are the ultimate. Alpha
Right.
males, as I said. Was it tough for you to make that decision? What was that? What was that process like for you, if you don't mind sharing?
It's not that it wasn't just tough. It's just that I was afraid. I was afraid of what were people going to think because all they saw was the tough guy Chris on the field and jumping over people, playing with a broken finger. Everybody saw that side, but sometimes when you go to people, now here's the key: you got to go to people that you can trust, that you can share your information that has an agenda to really actually help you. And when they help you, it's not that they're just there to coddle you. They help you to get you that tune up that you need in life. And when I had people in my life, men in my life, to actually that were mentoring me, it helped me understand that sometimes you go through trials and tribulations. Sometimes you go through things that triggers that. to make you act a certain way. So once I understood what the trigger was, so now I understand that when that trigger tries to come, now I had to push back and say, nah, that's not me.
What did you learn about yourself going through that
Um,
time?
I'm gonna give you a perfect example. It's like, you ever watch that cartoon Aladdin? That
Yeah.
cartoon Aladdin where everything is smooth, right? But then there's a scene where he rips the carpet off him and he spirals down. And the reason why he was spiraling down is because on that carpet everything was comfortable. But then once that carpet was taken away, it was like you were falling and nobody was there to catch you. And that's exactly how my life was when I retired from the NFL. Everybody thinks when you retire from the NFL, it's like, I'm going to watch Judge Judy, I'm going to sit and relax. But there's things that you struggle with. You struggle with, okay, I can't play football anymore. I can't be with my teammates anymore. I'm not in the limelight anymore. Now, what's my identity? What was I here? What am I purpose here for? So I had people to mentor me to answer those questions that I couldn't answer. So once I had people in my life to answer those questions that I couldn't answer, now I started to answer the questions that I was asking myself, and that's when the help came.
And I know from getting to know you, over the last several years, you really hope to someday get into NFL player development and
Yes.
working with you guys through a lot of these situations that come up because, we get jaded as fans. We see these guys perform on the field and we think that,
Right.
these guys are robots. They're not. They're human beings.
No.
They have lives. They have emotions. They have issues. They have problems off the field. And I think somebody like you, with your experience and everything you've been through, could just be a valuable asset to an NFL team working with these players. I know that's long been a dream of yours, and I
Yes,
feel
it
very
is.
confident that someday you will
I appreciate it.
accomplish that goal. There's no doubt in my mind.
Because I want to go back. I remember this rap song I heard. It says, "How do you know where I've been if you've never been where I've been? Understand where I'm coming from." So now I can go back and teach these guys to where if they go through trials and tribulations, the reason why I can understand that is because I've been there. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I remember, and I tell a lot of stories. I remember we were playing the Buffalo Bills. And as we were playing the Buffalo Bills, I ran and get ready to block for Eddie George. But as I'm blocking for Eddie George, I see Big 27 coming around the corner. You know when Big 27 is coming around the corner, you better buckle up. You better have every shoulder pad on. So I'm blocking this guy. So as I'm turning, I get knocked down. And as I'm knocked down, I'll never forget Eddie George. You know how big Eddie George is, big shoulders and a little bitty head, just a ginormous dude. But I'll never forget this. As he sees me laying there, he puts his big hand out and he picks me up and he gets me some Gatorade and he gets me right back in the game. See, that's a perfect example why I want to work in an NFL because there's going to be a situation where guys get knocked down. There's going to be a situation where guys go through mental situations. What I want to do is I want to be like that hand to pick them up, get them what they need, and they can get right back in the game. That's exactly why I want to go in the NFL.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Thank you for sharing. That's great stuff, and
Oh, you're
you definitely
welcome, man. Thank you.
anybody for if you're having issues. I know that it's something I've considered for a long time. I need to just pull the trigger and do it because there's a lot of
Yeah.
things I need to get off my chest. Right? That you can't.
Yeah.
Talk, I
Yeah.
can talk to you about it, but I can't
Yeah.
talk to
But
like
but but the
a lot of
but the
people
one thing
about.
you want to do, and I had to learn, you want to get people that you don't want to just share all your stuff just to anybody. You want to make sure that the people that you talk to, it's a safe environment. You know what I'm saying? You
And there
want to
has to
make
be a
sure.
solution at the end of the day, or at least an
Yes.
understanding, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be a solution, but also you want to surround yourself with people that are going to not just put a band-aid on it, but help that thing heal. And the way you help that thing heal is walking them through the process. See, what we do is instead of talking to people, we talk at people. This is a 12-step program. You need to do this, and this. That ain't helping. You want to take them through the process and walk them through the process. I have men that talk me through the process. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm going through. Oh, I understand that. Why I feel like that. Is it my childhood? All these things that I had to answer that I couldn't answer. So, and another thing that helped me too was getting my wife Faith Sanders in my life to really help me see things that I didn't see.
Yeah.
And I needed that. John, I really needed that because we think that we as men that we're invincible, and we're not invincible. There's stuff that we go through. I mean, I seen grown men cry. I cry, and I think that that's a sign that yes, I had scars, but I still got a destiny and a purpose.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Again, I appreciate you sharing. That's great stuff. So, yeah, we want to encourage anybody to, really look after your mental health, especially as we get older.
Yeah.
because so many existential things come into play. It's like you said, why am I here? What is my purpose? When's
Yeah,
my expiration date? That kind of thing. And, that's a lot to go through in your mind as you're
it's a
trying to
lot to go
navigate your
through.
way through the different phases of your life. So I appreciate you sharing. All right, let's
You
talk
welcome, man. What
um,
football?
Titans preseason
Yeah,
opener against Tampa Bay this weekend. As we're recording this, they had the joint workout with the Bucks down in Tampa earlier this week. Some good, some bad, and it seems like when we're talking Cam Ward, because that's really the topic
yeah.
A of the Titans this training camp. Their rookie quarterback Cam Ward.
Hmm.
I'm not there every day. I know you've been
Right.
out to practice a couple times. I've been out to practice a few times, but I always try to defer to the people that are out there every day, the beat writers and the people like that. But it feels like pretty normal with what you would expect from a rookie
Yeah,
quarterback, right? I mean, to
yeah,
put it in bowling terms, there's some strikes and there's some
yeah,
gutters.
yeah. But see, what's the term rookie mean? That means you're new at something that's unfamiliar. That's why they call it a rookie. But I love how he's handling it because there was one, I think it was maybe about a week ago where he threw 6 interceptions. So everybody's saying, "Oh my gosh, I mean the season's over." But we got to understand that it's a process. Give the kid a chance to develop. And here's what you do: all the 6 interceptions that he threw, go back and watch film and let him correct those mistakes. And that's what a rookie does. When Steve Bennett came out, he struggled a little bit. He struggled with defense. He struggled with some things. But once he understood the concept, once he understood the technique, now he had a chance to grow. And I think we as fans, we got to understand that we got to give Cam Ward a chance to grow. He's a rookie. He's got a lot on his plate. He's the face of the franchise. He's leading a team. He's talking to grown men that've been in the league for years. He's got to thrive through chaos. And when you have a quarterback that has to do all these things, sometimes you got to take the cape off and say, okay, man, you know what? I still got a lot to learn.
Well, the good news is all the reports coming out of Tampa at the joint practice was that Ward looked pretty good. A
Yeah.
couple of interceptions, but looked good in the low red zone periods and in 7-on-7, which is 7-on-7 is what it is. You
They ain't
participate.
hitting. They
You're
ain't
throwing.
hitting.
You're not getting. There's no pass rush, nothing
Right.
like that. Still, I
Yeah.
mean, what I like about him the most is that he seems poised. He seems like
Yep.
from a mental standpoint, which is kind of bringing full circle
Yeah.
what we started the show with. It really feels like he can handle the mental part of it, and the fact that he was able to go up against NFL competition, not full on contact,
Yeah.
tackle,
Yeah. Yeah.
that kind of thing, but still. These joint practices are very competitive, and they're as close to real game action as you can get without being in game action. The fact that he was able to handle himself for the most part pretty well is a good sign, hopefully going forward.
Yeah. You ever watch that show Happy Days? You
Oh
remember?
yeah,
You remember Fonzarelli?
yep.
Every time there was a fight, he was always cool, calm, and collected. It never mattered what the situation was. That's Cam Ward. He got talked about. Hey, my body demeanor never changes. But when I walk into place, it's going to change. And then he goes to Tampa Bay. Everybody was talking, oh, we're in trouble. Oh, the season's over. But he walks into practice, cool, calm, and collective, and just goes in there and has a good showing. So it just shows you that's the kind of leader that you want that's going to strive through chaos, but always going to strive through adversity, but says, you know what, in every situation, I'm cool, calm, and collected. His body language never changes. Just like when I played with Steve McNair. Steve McNair would be asleep before the game. He can break his finger, he can break his sternum, he can break his ankle, but his body demeanor never changes. It never wavered. It never said, I don't want to do this anymore. It never said, I quit. It just said, you know what? Yes, I'm hurt. Yes, I went through trials and tribulations, but guess what? I'm like Fonzarelli. I'm cool, calm, and collective in every situation.
Another encouraging sign, Chris, I think, is the fact that he seems to be building really good chemistry with his number one wide receiver, Calvin Ridley. Now, the practices I've been to,
Man,
Ridley's looking really good.
that
He did
he's
his
that dude, man.
the ball. It seems like, he had a good season last year, over a
Yeah, he
thousand
did.
yards, pretty good. And despite the fact that maybe not the best quarterback play to work
Yeah,
with, but he seems even more motivated this year because I think he heard a lot of the criticism. There are a lot of fans saying, we paid this guy a lot of money to
yeah,
be a number one, and we didn't feel like we got the return on our investment.
yeah.
And I don't know. I think Calvin's an interesting guy. I
He is.
enjoy interviewing him, talking with him because he's kind of a get it how you live it guy. But man, he seems
Yeah.
really motivated to not only have a good season for himself, but it really feels like he believes in Cam Ward and he wants to be that number one wide receiver for Cam Ward. Are you picking up on that?
Yeah, but CJB, the one thing that he's doing is playing with a chip on his shoulder. And you can, when I say he's playing with a chip on his shoulder, watch how he runs his routes. He's mad at everybody. He's mad at the water boy. He's mad at the mascot. He's coming off. When I say he's coming off the ball, he's coming off the ball, and he stops with so much force. Me and TD, guy that I work with I do a podcast with him also, is he calls it the suddenlies. I suddenly get out of the cut. Man, there's only yeah, TD.
Covers the Titans for ESPN. Great dude.
Yeah, great dude. And there's two other guys that had the suddenlies that it was incredible. It was Webster Slaughter and Derek Mason. When I say suddenlies, that means when they get in their cut, they're immediately out of it. And when you watch Calvin Ridley, he comes off the ball full speed, but he doesn't have no wasted motion at the top of the routes. And here's the thing that I love about Calvin Ridley is he attacks the football. When I say attacks the football, when the ball's in the air, it's like, I'm mad at you. And he jumps up and he grabs it. Watch, I remember, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, they had like a little, not like a scrimmage, but a practice at the stadium. And he ran a curl route. And the ball was thrown outside, and the way he grabbed the ball, like, give me that. Like, it was the last piece of toast on the table. I mean, like, give me. I mean, he has got an attitude of, I'm mad at you at the line of scrimmage, I'm mad at the football, and you're not gonna stop me to make plays. And when you have a rookie quarterback in Cam Ward that may not throw a perfect ball every time, but you have a wide receiver that says, you know what? I don't care if it's in the stands. That ball's mine. That's why Cam Ward doesn't have any inclination of not throwing it to him, because he said, you know what? Wherever I throw this ball, this cat's going to get it.
So that brings up the question, who's going to emerge as the number 2 wide receiver? You know, you have Van Jefferson in the mix.
Yeah.
You have Lockett, the longtime
Yeah.
veteran from Seattle, in the mix. You got the 2 rookies, DK and Io Manor. Both,
Yeah.
I think, are going to be productive.
Yeah.
Is it going to be by committee, you think, or do you think one of these guys will step up to be that solid number 2 receiver for the Titans?
I think it all depends if they go with 11 personnel. That's 1 back, 1 tight ends, and 3 wide receivers. If they start 3 receivers, here's this is my opinion. You got Calvin Ridley, you got Tyler Lockett, and you have Allamore. How you pronounce his name again?
Io Manor, I believe.
Io Manor. I'm just calling Amen. Io Manor. But he's been having a good He's been having a good camp for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers too. So he's been killing them also. But then here's another cat that comes into play is James Prochet. He's looking good. I mean, he can put him in a slot. He may not be a speed burner. He might not be a guy that can take the top off the defense, but he can catch those digs, those hitches, and use his return to capability like he has. So it's going to be interesting. But the top 3, this is my opinion: Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, and Amen.
Amen.
I ain't even gonna pronounce his name. Amen.
You know, yeah, he's Canadian. He grew up playing hockey, so you know, you just it is what
Amen. Amen.
Amen. I like it. What about Chigakonkwo? Is a guy that, man, the guy's got all the talent in the world. He's a freak athlete, big, strong, fast, pretty decent hands, although he drops a few more passes than I'd like to see. This is a critical year for him, isn't it?
Yep.
Because it kind of feels like his future's on the line. And I know I've said this before. They drafted Gunnar Helm out of Texas.
Yep. Yeah.
Not the athlete that Chig is, but he is a reliable route runner. And I've said it before, the ball just seems to melt in his hands. What is your outlook for Chigakonkwo, not only this preseason, but into the season?
But see, here's the thing about Chig is he's a great athlete. He's got great speed. You know, he can actually take the top off the defense. But here's the thing that where he struggles at is being consistent. You got to be consistent in this league, and if you're not consistent in this league, they're going to get you out of here. But you look at the guys that they have on this roster at tight end position; those guys have been consistent all through camp. So you know, even though he'll make a play here and there, we don't need Chig to make a play here and there. He needs to start dominating the game. I know sometimes he may not get the looks. But when he catches the ball, he needs to be a playmaker. He needs to be not just a playmaker, he needs to be an impact player because he has that type of potential. But we always talk about potential. All it is hidden ability. We don't want to say, oh, he can do this and he can do that, but he doesn't do it. And I think if you don't do it, then you're not consistent. They're going to get you out of here. And it just doesn't matter how your potential is.
Right. And for a rookie quarterback, you know this. I mean,
right.
You need a reliable tight end, and you need to be able to check down your running backs out of the backfield. Yeah. You know, you feel good about Pollard.
He's the dude.
From those perspectives, but I think tight end is going to be critical for Cam Ward's development going forward, don't you?
Yeah, and then you got Josh Wiley. I mean, a big old target, but the one thing that he struggles with is staying healthy. You have to stay healthy in this game. You can be 6'7", you can run a 4.1, you can run a 10.21 in the 100-meter dash, but if you ain't showing up in the games, if you ain't on the field and you're not available, you're just potential that's sitting on the sideline. So he has the talent. Josh Wiley has the talent, but you have to be available in the games. You can't have one game and catch 4 passes, and the next game you're out of the game. You just can't do that. They're going to say, okay, this guy is not that he's not dependable, he's just not available. And I just think that that's the problem that you're running in with Josh Wiley.
Yeah. On the defensive side of the ball, I
Woo!
really like from Jeff Simmons. I mean,
Yes.
he's lost weight. He's got himself in really good condition. He was always a good athlete for a big man, but man, he seems a lot quicker getting off the line at the point of attack from what I've seen. And he hasn't lost any strength. We know Jeff
No.
is a big, strong man, and he hasn't lost any strength, even though he's lost, I guess, some of that weight, maybe some of
Yeah.
that body fat. I think he has potential to have a really good year if he
Yeah.
stays healthy. We all know how good he is. He's one of the best in the NFL at his position, but he's been hurt, inconsistent play. We talked about the burden of leadership that's been
Yeah.
thrust upon him. We talked about that. But if I'm a Titans fan, I got to be feeling good about what I've seen
Yeah.
from Jeff Simmons.
You remember when, I remember when my son CJ was small, right? He would sit at the table, and if he wanted something, he would be like, "Dad, I want some candy." He'll say something like that. But see, that's what the fans are saying to Jeffrey Simmons. We want sacks. We want sacks. We don't care if you're getting double teamed. We don't care if 2 guys are on you. We want sacks. We want you to dominate the game. If you look at Aaron Donald when they played in the Super Bowl a while ago, they show a clip of him when the game was on the line. He's talking to himself. He said, "Man," he said, "I prepared for this. I'm ready for this. This is my moment, and I'm going to take over this game." Who made the play to save the Super Bowl? Aaron Donald. So the fans and me and you are like that little kid at the table or CJ at the table. They're saying, "We want this. We want sacks, Jeff." Last year he had 5 sacks. Yes, he disrupted a little bit, but as a fan, as a dominant player, we need sacks. We need to get to a position to where he takes over a game. We don't want to play here and there. We don't want you just to touch the quarterback. We need sacks, and you got to become a dominant player.
Yeah, but he needs some help, right? He can't do it alone. I mean, you're not
Yeah,
necessarily
I
relying on
agree.
Sweat to put pressure on the quarterback, although he is capable of doing it.
Yeah,
It's the edge guys, right? It's Arden Key. It's Femi Oladejo, the rookie out of
yeah,
UCLA.
true.
These guys got to affect the quarterback and take some pressure off Jeff, don't they?
Yeah, but see, here's a guy that nobody's really talking about who talks the whole practice. Arden Key. Do you know that Arden Key? He talks the whole practice. I mean, he talks the whole practice. But guess it. Guess who was leading in sacks last year? Him. No, I'm sorry.
There's Harold Landry.
Harold Landry. Harold Landry had many, but
New England
he yep.
back in Mike Vrabel's arms.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy. But then you look at Arden Key, he had 6 sacks last year. 6 sacks.
I
They
need
were
more than that.
quiet. Yeah, he needs more than that. But if he ups his sacks, you don't think that Jeffrey Simmons is going to up his sacks? And then you got Sweat that's playing the nose tackle, and he gets a couple of sacks. If you look at Sweat last year, he did okay. He showed up a film a little bit, but you got to get way more than 1 sack. And that sack that he had, he kind of fell into it. The quarterback spun, he was right there. But I agree with you. If Jeffrey Simmons get the mindset of, I got to dominate, I got to take over the game. I'm not telling him to be Aaron Donald. I'm not saying that. Be yourself. But you got to get to a position to where you have to not just be a player, you got to be an impact player that impacts the game. And if he can get that and start tearing people's helmet off, start tearing shoulder pads off, getting to the quarterback, now we start talking about him being an impact player.
They, as far as the secondary goes, they brought back
Uh-oh.
Diggs this week at safety,
Yeah.
a guy they had a year ago. And what's cool about that are 2 things. Number one, he's back with the Titans, so he knows Denard Wilson's system fairly well, I would imagine. And he's Cam Ward's cousin.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
Yeah.
walk in the locker room and see some kid folk
Yeah.
up and
Yeah,
right?
can't foul it.
Kid folk. Got some kid folk.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but they do need some help in the secondary. I mean, we don't know the situation with Snead. I mean, you got a Monty Hooker that had, I think he had,
I am very concerned about Snead. I
yeah,
think
I
there's
mean,
a lot more to this than what the Titans are letting on.
yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
It's just a gut feeling.
See, we can't depend on him. But you got Brownlee that's doing pretty good. That's going to get some good receivers with Tampa Bay. He's doing good. But I just think that in the secondary they don't have that top end speed. And if you're looking in the AFC South, you got some receivers that can flat out fly. I mean, now they added the Jacksonville Jaguars has added Hunter that can flat out fly. So you got to have a shutdown corner. You got to have a corner that puts fear in opposing, wide receivers. And I just think that they don't have that right now. I understand that, Brownlee is in his second year. He had a pretty decent year, which is okay. We got a Monty Hooker in the back end that's pretty good. But once you start blitzing and once you start going man to man in the perimeter, because Denard Wilson likes to really do that, you better have somebody that can cover in the back end. Or if the front doesn't get there, the secondary is definitely going to have to cover, JB.
What about at linebacker? Obviously, middle linebacker was an area of emphasis coming in. You like what you see from Cody Barton. He's been great. He's picked off Cam Ward a couple of times. He's got great instincts for the ball. He was mixing it up the other day at the joint practice.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to get his uniform dirty. And it's been James Williams Sr. so far at the other side linebacker spot, which is good. And I think he's had a pretty decent camp, and he's been out there consistently with the ones based on what I've seen. But I'm wondering, from your perspective, is this an indictment on Cedric Gray, a guy that they drafted, and guy that talked all spring about, I need to step up, this is my opportunity? Well, it doesn't seem like he's making the most of his opportunity. Now, we'll see once the preseason games start. We'll get a better look at him. But, the fact that he's not, right now at least, in the mix to be the starter alongside Cody Barton is –
that's a concern.
But it raises my eyebrow because this is a guy you drafted.
Yeah, you drafted him, but you didn't just draft him. You drafted him to come in and play, and you need a guy like that. But I like Burton. You remember that guy that has to play with in 1999? Remember Greg Favors?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. A guy who talks every practice, yelling at coaches, screaming at the offense, screaming at Stephen there, about to fight Frank Wycheck, Wesley So. He about to fight me, and talking in the locker room, talking in dinner, talking at lunch, talking on the plane, talking. I mean, just all the time. He's one of those guys that when he's on your team, you love him. But if he was on some other team, you'd be ready to fight him. That's how Barton is. He talks the whole time. But here's the thing about Barton. He backs that stuff up now. Hey, JB, he backs it up. And here's what he brings to the defense. He brings a certain type of energy. He brings the energy that you love. It's funny. He talks trash, but also he's always in the right place. His instinct, he has great instincts. And as a linebacker, you have to have great instincts. And I think that's the situation with Gray. The reason why he's struggling right now is because his instincts is a little off. So I love Barton. I'm concerned about the linebacker position. They might need to go out and get somebody else. But at the end of the day, I love Barton, man. He just brings that it factor to the team.
Yeah, he's
fun, man.
Yeah, he's a goat. He cracks me up. Yeah, he's a little nutty. He's a little crazy.
He's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things we haven't really discussed is special teams. I love the fact that Bones Fossil has taken over as a special teams coach. He's been very respected throughout the league. His dad, Jim, was a head coach in the NFL, got the Giants to the Super Bowl in 2000. I remember that as a Giants fan. And he comes – I thought that was one of the more underrated moves of the offseason.
Yes.
When you're talking player acquisition, coaching, whatever. Getting Bones Fossil to fix the special teams for the Titans, which was absolutely dreadful last year, was a good move by the organization.
I mean, I think it was, but also too is I went out and watched practice a couple of weeks ago, and I watched how he orchestrated the special teams. He didn't just tell people their assignments; he made it fun. He made it to where they were actually felt like they were in a special teams event. Does that make sense? Like he made it a game time environment. That's what it was. And I watched it. I was like, wow, you got guys excited about hitting the bags, the dummies, and everything. I mean, everybody was excited to do special teams because back in the day, when you hear special teams, you'd be like, oh man, I'm about to go get me some water. But look at the excitement of these guys doing kickoff return. Look at the excitement when they're doing punt return because he created an environment of guys wanting to do special teams. If you look at last year, I'm not putting no knock on the coach or anything, but it seems like guys were just on there just to be on there. There was just no excitement about going to be on kickoff, about going to be on punt return. There was just no excitement.
It looked like guys quit. It looked like guys stopped trying.
Yeah. Oh, man.
You know?
Yeah. And then there's another guy. there's another guy over there named Renee Stewart who I used to play with the Tennessee Titans. He's his assistant. So you got two fiery guys that love to play special teams. So you don't think that's going to rub off on these players to say, you know what, kickoff team, they're running on the field. Kickoff return, they're running on the field. Because if you look at last year, when it's kickoff return or punt return, they're just kind of like, man, all right, man. You know, how does Keith Bullock, all right, man. You know,
Yeah, all right, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying.
You know, shout out to KB, number 5'3". We love him. We love Keith Bullock.
You know what I'm saying? You got to make it
Yeah.
fun. I ain't
Yeah.
doing it, but it's fun.
Yeah. Well, you know, that was the only way I could get on the field when I was in high school. I had a return. Brings me to my next point. You know, this is,
Sure.
I believe, my 14th season covering the Tennessee Titans, and I've
Wow,
yet
you
to
are
see
old.
them have a consistent return game, either kickoffs or punts. And you know this. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, a free kick return for a touchdown by Derek Mason pretty much sealed the AFC Championship game for you
I
guys
know.
to the Super Bowl. How important is it going to be for the Titans to find some consistent returners in the kickoff and punt aspect of the game?
I mean, you got to find out a guy that has not just have experience, but understand the task at hand. If you look at last year, Jaquan Jackson got put in a situation to where he's like, oh my gosh, and he fumbled it in crucial situations. But now you got a kid that we've been talking about earlier, a wide receiver named James Prochet. When he was with the Ravens, he did kickoff return, he did punt return. So you have a guy, you have a guy that has, you know, some experience. So now you put a guy in there with experience and you have guys that are excited about blocking for him. Now your special teams went from last to maybe, you know, one of the top 10, you know, punt returns in the league. Because at the end of the day, we got to understand that we call special teams because they're special, because they can turn the game absolutely around. We talk about the AFC Championship game in 1999. Jacksonville Jaguars was getting a little momentum. What does Derek Mason do? Kick a punt return. He takes it the distance. Game over. Body language done. So that's why kickoff return, that's why punt return needs to be so taken seriously, because it can actually change the game.
Yeah, certainly, no question. When you look around the league, you know, the Colts had their first preseason game last night as we're recording this, and lo and behold, Anthony Richardson gets hurt. He's in a battle for the starting quarterback spot with Andrew Jones, and it just, I don't know, it feels like with Anthony Richardson, it's just a case of too much too soon with this guy. He was probably drafted higher than he should have been, and now, you know, he's going to have to fight his way back, not only from injury, but try to earn a starting spot. And you know, he's got an uphill battle this summer.
Oh, you went out on me. Say that again.
I was talking about Anthony Richardson as we kind of
Oh,
look
yeah.
around. You know, he gets hurt last night as we tape this,
Yeah.
and you know, this guy's in a battle for the starting spot with Daniel Jones, and so now I think it was just a case of too much too soon with this guy. You know, he's probably drafted higher than he should have been after really just 1 year as a starter at Florida.
Yeah.
A terrific athlete, had a great combine, but you know, hasn't really put it together yet for the Colts. And now he's got to battle this injury, getting back on the field. And oh, by the way, he's in a race to be the starter with Daniel Jones. It's going to be an uphill climb for him this summer.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you can be a terrific athlete, but you need to be a good quarterback in this league. And I think that, I'm not saying that he's not a good quarterback in this league, but we talked about it earlier. You have to be available, JB. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're consistently getting hurt, then you're not going to be available in the game. And I think last year or the year before, I think they kind of did him a disservice because they tried to make him a running quarterback. When you're a quarterback, they're going to figure you out quick. You're going to get square. You're going to get hit in the nose. You're going to have a broken shoulder. And that's what happened with his shoulder, to where you can't keep running. You got to know when to slide. You can't take those hits. And then we saw last night that somebody came off the edge from the Ravens and kissed him square in the nose. And when you get up and all of a sudden he's hurt, then now you know why the reason they brought Daniel Jones in, because they were scared, because they was afraid that he was going to get hurt. So when you have that situation, you have a guy to play in the NFL. He might not be as good, but you still have a quarterback with experience with Daniel Jones.
Well, it's funny, you know, being a Giants fan, I watched the first 6 years of Daniel Jones' career, and I watched a little bit of a series he had last night, and it was typical Daniel Jones. Made a couple of nice throws, moved the ball a little bit, got into the red zone. that was a typical Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Throws were like, okay, it looks like he's got something, man. the red zone is kryptonite for that guy.
Man,
So you know, I don't know what the outlook's going to be for the Colts, but I wouldn't be crazy about either quarterback. I think
I
you
know.
just, you got to turn around and give it to 28, 40 times a game and
Yeah,
hope for the best.
but you know how Daniel Jones is, and I'm being funny when I say this. It's kind of like when I used to go out, right? And the house parties, it was dark, and you asked the girl to dance. You're like, "Ooh, she pretty. Ooh, wait."
I
You
know
like
you're
she's
going.
so. Hey, you be like you even sing the song. She's a bad man, pajama. I mean, you sing it out to your boys. You turn on that light, you like, whoa, whoa, and that's how we have with Daniel Jones sometimes. Is you like, woo, he good. Oh, dang, we in the red zone again. And he goes to interception. I'm being funny when I say that, but at the end of the day, if he can clean that up, he can be a good quarterback in this league. But the way you look, and you're like, heck to the no.
Yeah, because you see, he's had some talent. That one year in
Right.
2022, where Giants won 9 games and made the playoffs, it was Dable's first year. He played pretty darn
Yeah.
good. Got him a
Yeah,
nice
he did.
contract. They did some RPOs with him, and they really, from what I understand, they kind of dumbed down the offense, but it
Yeah.
worked for him. So, we'll certainly see as far as that goes. All right, preseason game number one. What do you want to see? We'll start first. Let's start with Cam Ward, and then let's move on to what you want to see from the rest of the team
Okay.
against Tampa.
With Cam Ward, I just want to see how he handles chaos because it's going to be chaos. You got the plays coming in through the helmets. He's got to set the front. He's got to understand what's going on defense. He's got to know the plays. I want to see how will he have that same confidence that he had in practice. Will he have that same confidence in the game situation? How is he going to lead? Say if there's a 2-minute drill that they need to do, how can he orchestrate that? So those are the things I'm going to look with Cam Ward. And then also I want to see how he handles adversity. Say he goes out the first series and he fumbles the ball or throws the interceptions. I want to watch his body language coming to the sides. I want to see those things. He may not throw a touchdown. He may not, throw some good passes, but I want to watch how he can handle chaos. How can he handle adversity? How can you handle these things? So if he can handle this in preseason, when he gets to the Denver Broncos, it'll be like riding a bike and say, okay, you know what? I've been through this situation, and now I know how to handle it.
And it's the little things, isn't it? Like
Yes.
getting the play on time, getting in and out of the huddle, no pre-snap
Yep.
penalties. Everybody knows what the snap count is on because this preseason games. You're not game planning. You're just lining up and calling plays for as long as you're
Yeah.
out there, right? And you
Yeah,
may
they are.
play based on what the look the defense is giving you, but you just want to see a smooth operation. And okay, if a ball gets tipped, he throws an interception, or he makes
Right.
a bad read, or wide receiver, is not in the spot where he's supposed to be. You can live with that, but
Right.
it's the self-inflicted wounds you don't want to see in the preseason games, right?
Yeah, I mean, and he's going to make some mistakes. But here's the thing that I want to see also is when he makes that mistake, I want to see if he's going to go over there to the coach and say, okay, what do I need to do better? Or is he going to sit on the sidelines and be like, I'll do this myself? So I just want to watch those little things. I want to watch the intangibles. I want to watch, how he handles if it's a 2-minute drill. How does he handle if it's in the red zone? How does he handle when it's 3rd and long? What to do? How to perform? Those are the things I want to see in the quarterback because at the end of the day, he's going to face all these situations. So if he faces this situation with confidence, he can go into the first game in Denver and say, okay, you know what? I've been through this. I'm prepared for this. I developed all this moment to make sure that I'm prepared for this. So those are the things that I want to see. Yeah, I want to look for touchdowns. Yes, I want to see the big play to Calvin Ridley or Van Jefferson or Lockett. Yes, I want to see those things, but I want to see how he operates in chaos. So if he operates in chaos now, it's going to really be chaotic when he plays against the Denver Broncos, and I think he's going to be prepared for it.
Who else are you going to have your eyes on in this first preseason game, Chris?
I want to see Calvin Ridley. I mean,
I don't
he's
even
an exciting. I love Calvin Ridley. Love him. And also,
Yeah.
I want to see Brownlee, the defensive back, because he's been talking a lot of stuff. He's like, "Oh man, I shut down any wide receiver." Otay, Otay, Otay. You gonna get what you wish for. I want to watch him and see how he performs. And then I don't know how long Jeffrey Simmons is going to play. I want to see if he can get a sack off the cuff. And I just want to see overall just a good, clean game. A good, clean game on defense with your starters. A good, clean game with your offensive starters. Let them do a series. The offense goes under, have a 10 or 12 play drive, score, and then go sit on the sidelines. And then you have the defense that goes against the offense and gets a 3 and out. You do that, I'm happy. That's all I want to see.
Well, the guy that I'm going to keep my eyes on is the guy that a lot of Titans fans I think are going to keep their eyes on, and that's Xavier Restrepo, the free agent
Yes.
coming out of Miami, who
Yeah.
obviously had great chemistry with Cam Ward at the University of Miami, and you know as well as I do, the undersized Caucasian slot receiver is a favorite amongst
Right.
NFL fans. So this
Right.
guy's going to catch a 12-yard pass. I'm telling you, the fans are going to go crazy. We got to
Oh,
keep this guy.
my
He's
God, keep him.
yeah, he's okay in practice, but he seems more of like a gamer than he is a practice guy. I'm definitely going to
Yeah.
keep my eyes on him, see if he can make a couple
But
plays.
But he's got a little something about himself. I mean, when you watch when he got drafted, he was happy, but he's like, I got to go prove myself. So when you get into this preseason game and you're catching 5 and 6 balls, and I don't know when he's going to get in the game. I hope he's in there when Cam's in there. That's going to be a situation. Also, is he going to be in there with Cam? But if he's in there with Cam and they go down the field and 5 passes are to Restrepo, then now you're like, okay, this guy's got to play. But then you got to look at Prochet. Prochet's going to play the slot. Then you got Van Jefferson's playing the slot also. Then you got Tyler Lockett. You got guys that are faster and bigger and stronger. So he's got to make sure that everything he does is a splash. So if I catch a 12-yard hitch or a 12-yard curl or a choice route, I can't just catch the ball and fall to the ground. Anybody can do that. Catch the ball and take it 40. Catch the ball and take it 30. Catch the ball to jump over somebody to get the coach's attention. Like, wait a minute. Even though we have these receivers over here, we still have to find a spot. Why? Because this guy is making a splash on the field.
Yeah, no question about it. I just feel like, he's going to make some plays in this game that are going to open some eyebrows. Again, I
Yeah.
think he's more of a gamer than he is a practice guy. He's been okay at
Yeah.
practice, but I definitely want to see what he can do in a game. So what are your plans for the game, man? Just going to pop some popcorn with the wife, a couple beverages?
Now,
Not
I'm
gonna
I'm
do it?
gonna I'm gonna watch the game, the first series, and then I'm gonna watch reruns and press my luck. That's what I'm gonna do. That's my favorite show. That's my favorite. Press my luck. We go crazy over that show. It's on Channel 2 now, but I don't know if it's coming on Saturday. But I'm gonna watch the first 2 series, and then I'm
Whammy?
gonna. You said,
No whammy?
yeah, no whammy, no man. They made the whammy so funny this year. They put one on there that me and my wife laughed for about 5 minutes. They had a choir. They had a choir of.
Here.
Yeah, they had a choir. They had a choir of whammies, and then the dude tapped the thing, and it said dun 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 dun. You suck. And I was like, oh my god. I'm like, what? This wasn't like it in the back in the day. It was so funny. Oh my gosh.
Well, Chris, always a pleasure. Great to
Man,
talk
thank
with
you, brother.
sharing the stuff about the mental health. And
Yeah.
let the folks know my new radio show here in Nashville is called JB and Friends. It's going to be every Monday through Friday at 9
Nice.
a.m. It's on 560 a.m., 95.9 FM if you're in the Nashville area. If not, you can stream it live on WNSR.com. And this guy, Chris Sanders, joins me every Thursday morning, and we talk football, and we just
Oh
cut
my
up at
God.
good time. So I'm looking
Do we
forward
talk
to
football?
getting in the midst of that. What's that?
Do we talk football?
I don't know. We talk for about 15 minutes, and I don't know. We managed to get some football talk in there.
I
So.
know.
Well, Chris, enjoy the
Appreciate you,
preseason,
brother.
and best of luck to everybody there at Montgomery Bell Academy. And I can't wait to talk to you next time on the podcast.
Man, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Love you, man.
Love you too, bro. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching the No Weapon Podcast with yours truly, John Burton, and the great Chris Sanders. We'll talk to you next time.